Well, I did not expect that. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Career Mode. It is episode number 42. One of the most thrilling Champions League ties I've ever had. Manchester United somehow getting past Inter Milan with 9 men on penalties to make the Champions League quarterfinals today. We'll have both legs against Borussia Dortmund. Before we get there, more games in the Premier League are after a nice little mini run. We're back in contention for the top 4. 10 games to go, only 1 point off Liverpool, and today could possibly go back in the Champions League places for the first time in months. Starting off with this, Crystal Palace away at Selhurst Park. It kind of reminded me of Solskjaer's Manchester United knocking out PSG a few years ago. It was like, you know, not an insurmountable task. Just like us knocking out Inter Milan wasn't an insurmountable task, but not many people predicted we could pull it off. The same way not many people predicted Solskjaer could pull off that comeback against PSG where they won it through that. Oh, hang on, last minute. Great double save by Kova. Rashford penalty. And in this case, speaking of penalties, it was the shootout. Sanchez might get the ball to trigger again. And finally, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Oyan Sanchez opens the scoring. Yeah, what a fantastic mini run this has been. Bar a couple of bad results, this has been the most consistent we've been in quite a long time as well. So, long may it continue. The frustrating thing is, Araujo did brilliantly well before I gave the ball away. And now I've been caught out of the back. Hannibal with a block and we'll get it clear. The annoying thing is, after this we've got an international break. And you might think, why is that a bad thing, man? Like, seriously. You need your players to get a breather. They're always out of energy. Well, unfortunately, I often say at the international break, you either want it or you don't. And it depends on how you're doing. If you're not doing very well, you need that break for the boys to go away, maybe a bit of warm weather if they're not going to the international squads, and, you know, sort of forget about football for a while, and then you come back with a fresh bit of mind. When you're in good form, you don't want to slow down. You want the games game after game after game after game. Alright, that's how I'm feeling as well. This is the best we've been playing for almost all of the season. Other than the start of the campaign, this is the best we've been all year long. As Sanchez finds Sancho, we're absolutely flying at Selhurst Park, and it is free. 30 minutes in, 3-0 Manchester United. Where have these performances been at the start of the season? So much better. I never seem to celebrate with the subs or my manager avatar anymore either. I think one of the reasons why is because I play on co-op as my camera angle. I do get asked sometimes, you know, Doctor, what's your camera angle? It's co-op. And it's the default co-op. I used to play with the customizable co-op camera angle so I could be as bird's eye as possible, but now I like it to be a little closer to the pitch now. That's how you know your eyes are getting bad in your old age, you know, when you don't want to sit too far back anymore. But yeah, so it's the co-op camera angle, and the reason why I like playing on co-op is because you do get a bit more of a bird's eye view. If you're on telly, you're very close to the pitch, and it means you can't see where your teammates are. I like to know exactly where. Oh, Sanchez almost made it for. All my teammates are on the other side of the pitch. So I've got a good view of what's going on off the ball. Anyway, 3-0 here. Hopefully we can see out the clean sheet as well, because this has been one of my best performances of the season. It's taken a long time, but this has been really good. Susak down the right-hand side with Sanchez holding him up and playing him through, and it's the tie boy. Whoop! Okay, a little bit lucky, but we'll take it. And Susak bends it in off the post to make it 4. Can I find a sub, or should I go to me? I'll try and go to me if I can, but oftentimes the player will stop short. He doesn't this time. The tie boy and the team united. It is Manchester United. It is 4. It is game. Oh, no. Oh, it's going to be a clean sheet. Gone. It doesn't come across on time. No, just couldn't get there. Oftentimes I'll drag one of my CBs out, and that is a problem for me when I'm playing a 5 at the back or a 3 at the back. It's one of the reasons why I don't like it. I do have a habit of dragging CBs out. When you do that, it means the 2 CBs alongside, in this case Murillo in the middle, are going to be too wide to come across and come back on time due to their starting positions. It's my fault, obviously, but it's one of the reasons why I don't really defend very well with these systems. Anyway, clean sheet's gone. It doesn't distract from the performance. Absolutely brilliant in South London today. And there we go. For the first time in a long time, Manchester United back in the top 4. And to be fair, we're only 4 points off Chelsea in third, who are our following opponents as well. We might have played a game extra over the other teams around us in the table, but the most important thing isn't the games in hand, but the points. So a win here will cut the gap on Maresca's Blues to 1 point, as we've come from basically nowhere to be right in the thick of Champions League qualification. If we're going to do it though, wins in these games would be priceless. Chelsea at home, our following game. We now if we can stay in the top 4, qualify for next year's Champions League, and maybe reach the semi-finals this year, because we've got Dortmund in the quarters, of course, both of those coming today, and I think we can take them out as well. It won't be easy, and we'll be missing Larson and Teden due to suspension, but... Oh, great save, Karnasechi, and... Oh, cleared in the nick of time. Definitely doable. We took out Inter, so we can take out Dortmund as well, but... It's not the dream second season we were hoping for. It's not a Postecoglou-esque season, but you know what? It could have been a hell of a lot worse as Karnasechi does pretty well scramble, and then the Italian recovers. Trying to get away from Araujo, who does brilliantly well. I wasn't really getting on with Araujo at the start of the season, but now much better with him. And as he finds Bellingham, still tight 0-0. Not a bad result against a team above us in the table, but if we are going to leapfrog them, we need to beat them. And Sanchez says, yep, I agree. Come on! 10 after the restart. Orion might be playing his final season, but not without trying to drag us back into Champions League. Almost there, almost there. Not the most action-packed of games, but wins are wins. Oh, no. I thought Bellingham could have intercepted that. He decided not to put his foot in and come to Vlahovic, with Chelsea having one last chance. Martinelli getting away. Araujo does brilliantly well, and that is surely going to do it. Elliot Anderson just wisely keeps hold of the ball, and that is going to do it. And Manchester United will win again. It is going to be another big win in the Premier League against a team right next to us in the table. And we are saying to Chelsea, we are saying to Liverpool, we are in this race. Don't you forget it. Oh, massive. Absolutely massive victory. And again, the defense has really picked up. Araujo in that game in particular was a brick wall. So much better than recently when we were leaking like 3 or 4 goals game after game. Right, following game, jumping out of this one into the next one. Wolves away at Molineux. Always a tough place to go. Heading into this one right before our Champions League quarter-final first leg against Borussia Dortmund. If we can go into that with another big win, keeping our form going and staying in the top 4, I'll be feeling confident heading into that European tie. Wolves away next. So this is something I like to do as well. You might notice pre-game I've gone with Larson. I mean, I was going to start Larson anyway, but Teden in my back line for this game. And there's a reason for that. And it's because they're both suspended for that first leg against Borussia Dortmund on Wednesday night. So because of that, they can't play regardless. So... Oh, what a finish. Mateusz Cunha, of course, the Red Devils found to be open. He does that next season in real life after that deal is basically all but confirmed now. But the reason why is because if they can't play in the week, I might as well play them for the full 90 in this game, burn their energy out, and they can have a whole week's worth of rest before the following game. But unfortunately, whether I had Teden in the back line or just in prime Ferdinand and Vidic, I don't think it would have mattered. That is just a glorious finish by the Brazilian. Wolves in front, and this is not the result we need heading into that first leg against Borussia Dortmund, as this time Trafford denies. Mateusz Cunha down by 1. Not the start we were hoping for today. I haven't turned up yet. I've always been a fan of Mateusz Cunha, really solid player, and that is excellently done. Excellently done. And Anderson, a rare goal scorer, gives us the leveller. It'll be interesting what he does at Manchester United for next season. And it'll be interesting how the Red Devils get on as well. It's pretty clear now that Ruben's going to be staying. But unlike this season when he came midway through with a group of players that couldn't fit his system, well, if he gets the backing from the board, he gets the signings he wants, well, if they have another campaign like this previous season, I don't think he'll be long-term Manchester United like every other that has come after the great Sir Alex. I guess we'll see what kind of start they have next year. And speaking of starts, well, in this first half, we've been really poor. Great leveller by Anderson. We've got to play better in the second, otherwise these are 2 drop points. Nothing out to go here, and whilst I'm mindful of that Dortmund game in the week, I can't take my starters off, man. I need to try and find a winning goal. That's going to be Jarrell's all day. As Murillo finds Larson, he'll give it to Anderson, and away we go. Susak is there, Sanchez through the middle, instead of give it back to Hugo, who we know can play great balls through. He's just done the same. It is Susak, Kongoriab denied. And with Brighton now tuning up on Newcastle, I mentioned Liverpool and Chelsea a moment ago. Brighton are actually the closest threat to 4th right now alongside us, and will be going top 4 if results stay the same as well. 2 big points dropped here. Unless we could find a winner. No, couldn't find a winner in the end. 2 points dropped away at Molineux. Not an easy place to go, but in the race for Champions League football, those are 2 points we couldn't afford to drop. Mini winning run over after 3 straight in the Premier League, and now we head back to matters in Europe. Heading to Old Trafford though for the first leg of Champions League quarter-final. Borussia Dortmund, we took them on match day 1 of the league phase, and we beat them in Germany by a goal to 0. That's why I feel quite confident, but missing our captain Hugo Larsson, only just scraping through into Milan, and a draw there against Wolves will have to be much better if we are to take a first leg win back to the Signal Iduna Park. First leg at Old Trafford, Dortmund in the quarters, which could go either way. After his heroics in the last round, could not start a bearer for this game. As good as Sanchez is, I mean, come on, how unfair would it be to not be starting Mika for this game here? He's just played a brilliant ball through, and Kubo couldn't beat Cabell, as Dortmund will escape an early attack from Manchester United. But that's the start we need, man. You know, when you go into a game like this and there's so much pressure on it and you think, well, it could go either way, I always think the best thing to do is not recede into yourself, you know, feel the game out, if you will, but go all guns blazing. Like, literally just go straight at them in the early stages. And maybe you'll get hit on the counter, maybe you'll concede early, but sometimes if you can land a really quick early punch, that can say a lot about your intentions for the whole tie, let alone the first half of the first leg. Kubo finds Berev, and Kobe almost landed a punch himself. Cabell with the save. Oh, Manchester United right now as well. Garassi tackled by Murillo. Man, I love him, seriously. I've used some pretty decent defenders in FC 25. Murillo's got to be up there as one of the absolute best. As Kubo finds Berev. And of course, he's unmarked! You knew he would score tonight! Jadon Sancho with the opener, and Manchester United lead. His best football, I don't think anyone can deny, was at Borussia Dortmund. And you know, when he went back there on loan 2 years ago, I really thought that he should stay there, you know. And I think for some players, they just find a place and that's where they thrive. They just find where they're best at, you know. And for Sancho, for me, you know, don't have any issue with the guy wanting to come back to England, of course, being an Englishman himself, and you know, to go to Manchester United and try his luck there with the Red Devils. But to me, once he realised it clearly wasn't for him, I wish he would have just gone back to Germany and said, look, this is where I'm best. This is where the fans get the best out of me. This is where I get the best out of myself. I want to return there. He went back on loan. I wish they could have found a way to get him back there permanently, because you know, he's gone to Chelsea and he scored in the Conference League final against Betis, of course, on Wednesday night. But yes, as Berev makes it 2. Some players just thrive in different environments, and Mika is thriving in the Champions League. It's another. It's 2. It's going to be a very interesting summer for Jadon Sancho, I must say. What does he decide to do? What do Manchester United decide to do? Because as we know, he's on a very, very high contract there at Old Trafford, and there's not a lot of clubs that would take that on. You know, even with Rashford going to Villa on loan and Sancho going to Chelsea on loan, my understanding is that Manchester United is still paying a big percentage of those contracts just to reduce them slightly whilst they're out on loan. Would any club want to take on Jadon Sancho's monster contract? Would he reduce his salary by enough to secure a permanent deal away? Well, I guess we will find out. It's going to be a very interesting summer regardless for the youngster who has had a bit of a stall in his career. But tonight he's been big for us. Getting that first goal, all-round great display. Jadon Sancho looking for his second denial by Schlotterbeck at the near post, but it's been all Manchester United. It's been a brilliant performance with 15 minutes to go. If we get a third goal, well, I don't say the tie is over. This is Borussia Dortmund, but oh dear, we'll certainly have one foot in the semis. I don't know why, but this is kind of reminding me of when Chelsea got to the Champions League final a few years ago, and of course ended up winning it against Manchester City. It kind of reminds me of that. I don't really know why. You know, obviously they changed managers midway through the season, Lampard leaving and Thomas Tuchel coming in. And go on, Kobe, have a dig, son. Oh, Cabell with the camera save. And yeah, I mean, not many people thought they would go all the way that season to win the Champions League, and did it. And I don't know, man. I mean, listen, we got a long way to go. We haven't even got through this round yet, but with 2 minutes to go in normal time here. If we keep the clean sheet, we will have not 1 foot in the semi-final, but maybe a couple of toes. But Dortmund aiming to start that being the case, and Trafford, who's had basically nothing to do all night long, when called upon, make sure we do hold on to the clean sheet. Yep, this is Borussia Dortmund, and we still got to go to Germany. So there is no way you'll catch me saying we got 1 foot in the semi-finals, but we've certainly taken a big step towards it with a 2-0 win at Old Trafford. Massive first leg win. Right, let's jump out of this one into the game of today's episode. Big slip up to Wolves away at Molineux in our last contest in the Premier League, but staying at Old Trafford as we welcome Leeds United, and you know these guys would love to take us out of the top 4 right now. Leeds in the following game, and I've got to say I'm very nervous for this one here, as we desperately need a return to winning ways in the league. So there's 3 teams separated on goal difference right now with 54 points. We have the disadvantage of playing an extra game than the teams next to us, but we briefly touched on this earlier. Like, games in hand are great. What's better are the points already, you know. So we've done brilliantly well to get to where we've got to, and it means that even though again the teams around us have that game in hand, if we keep winning, we will make the top 4. So it's still on us, and we still have destiny in our own hands. 5 minutes in, perfect start here. So we've still got Liverpool to come, and I think we've also still got a game against Chelsea as well. As Susak finds Udogie. Oh, what a great save that was, and turned away and cleared as well. But yeah, I say this all the time, man. If you do your job, you'll get there. So when the table is tight, oftentimes you look around the grounds and think, please, can I get a favour from somewhere? But ultimately, if you do your job and you stay focused, you'll do the task without needing a favour. As things stand, looking on course to do that here. I often liken favours to inheritance, and the phrase I use is, it's nice if you get it, but you should never expect it. And so for me recently, for example, as you know, my dad passed away, Sanchez almost made it too. And, you know, me and my brother, we didn't inherit a house or, you know, a lump sum of money after his passing. You know, we were a very poor family, he was a very poor man. And so there wasn't something big coming our way afterwards, you know. And it's the way, that's a brilliant ball, that's a brilliant goal. Oh, Larson, took your time there, son. And so that's kind of how I see favours from other teams within the league season as well. If you get it, it's really nice. It's really, really lovely to get a helping hand from elsewhere. But you should never, ever, ever expect it. It's on you to get the job done within a league season, just like it's on us to get the job done for success within our lives. A helping hand would be lovely, but we should never expect it. And we certainly don't here. If teams can take points off Liverpool and Chelsea and Brighton, that'll be great, but if we do our job, we'll get it. Don't expect the favours. Do yourself a favour and get the job done. Yeah, me and my brother accepted a long time ago that on the unfortunate day when our parents passed away, our mum is still going strong, for those curious, but we're not going to be inheriting our only 4-bed detached house in southeast England. If we want that house, we've got to get it ourselves. And it's the same with Manchester United qualifying for the Champions League as well. If we want to get into the top 4, we've got to get there ourselves. And we can do that by continuing to win. Big victory there against Leeds United, back on track in the Premier League on the back of a slip-up against Wolves. And now, heading into the following game, lovely run of Formula competitions, and heading to Germany, knowing a clean sheet tonight at the Signal Iduna Park puts us into the semi-finals of the Champions League. Yep, our 6th and final game today, off to Germany. The game where we had match day 1 in the league phase and won by a goal to nil. We did that again tonight. We're into the final 4. Dortmund away in the second leg of the quarters. Yeah, we've got Liverpool on the weekend in one of the biggest games remaining in the league season. And so again, you know, if we do our job, we're going to get there. You know, we beat them. And I'd say we're certainly not guaranteed to finish above them. We're still, I think there'll be 5 games to go after that. But we'll certainly be in a very healthy position to do so now. And yeah, I'll say it again. Favours are nice. Favours are nice. But don't worry about people giving you a helping hand, man. As much as that will be a nice thing to receive, do your job and you'll be fine. Sancho, knew he'd score. Oh, I was going to say knew he'd scored tonight. Should have scored tonight. I was going to go left originally with the shot. Now I tried to strike across the body of Cabell. That is why you should never change your mind when you're going through one-on-one, man. You know, you probably taught this in junior football nowadays. I certainly was when I was young. Don't Oh, I was going to say, don't change your mind on penalties. Stick to your corner and go for it. Should have done so with a shot. But what have I just been saying about favours? It's nice when you get them, but you shouldn't expect them. And I didn't expect that. Susuk's shot takes a huge deflection. And Cabell, diving the wrong way, has nothing he can do about that. Red Devils 3-0 up, 1 foot in the semi-finals, and that is a massive helping hand. Luck or not, we've been the far better team in this quarter-final tie. But that is a ridiculously lucky goal. And to be fair, you know what? We've been on the receiving end of some really bad luck this season. You know, not just with the transfer requests that have been happening as Mika gets away to make it. Oh, I'm going to say make it 4. Cabell once again keeping Dortmund breathing on life support right now. But there was a stretch a while back when we were literally hitting the post like once or twice every single game. We were really unlucky in that regard. So yeah, I think we deserved a bit of good luck, and we certainly had it there. But to be honest, getting it or not, I don't think it will matter. We've been in control, really, from the first whistle of this tie. And I said it when the tie was drawn. I feel confident, and I did not mean for Cabell. We'd be leading this tie by about 7-0. One of the last conversations I had with my dad, when he was coherent enough, I should say, was obviously about football, which, to be fair, isn't a surprise. I mean, the chances of that being the case were high. You know, it's all we really talked about, football, you know. If we'd have a chat, the first 30 seconds were, "You alright? Yeah. You? Yeah, not bad. Cool, cool." God, I'll tell you what, last night, what on earth happened there? I mean, honestly, final 10 minutes was, you know, it's just always football, really, you know. And to be fair, obviously, as a big Manchester United fan as he was, I remember we were talking about it in one of our last conversations, and he was saying how, you know, as difficult as it is and as tough as it is, you know, you've got to remember that what was going on when I was a kid, for example, during the Ferguson prime years, I mean, that was an, I always struggle to use this word, anomaly. It was an anomaly. You know, that's not the kind of thing that most football teams should be expecting year after year. Maybe some are lucky enough to always be getting that, but, you know, that was a really, really luxurious time for Manchester United fans. And so I think he was trying to make the point that ultimately there have also been seasons of struggle as well within his lifetime. For example, when they got relegated. So, you know, these tough times for Manchester United, you know, they're not unprecedented. It might be for a lot of youngsters, and even for myself as well, it's unprecedented within my lifetime, but not for the club's entire history. And so what Manchester United need more than anything right now, I would say, is patience. Can they get back to playing like we are right now in the save? Champions League quarters and about to go to the semi-finals? Yeah, but it's not the sort of thing that can be fixed within 1, 2, even 3 or 4 seasons. It's going to take some time. And we'll see whether Amorim is the man to lead them there. But within this save, Doxy boy has done that. We are heading to the Champions League semi-finals. I'm surprised we're there, but we are here. Let's see who we got in the final 4, and we'll end the episode there. Yeah, patience is a virtue after all, as we all know. And if the fans can remain patient, I'm sure they'll be rewarded for that in time. You know, don't forget, it wasn't that long ago when Liverpool under Roy Hodgson looked completely lost, and now look at them, Premier League champions, and of course we'll face them in the save in the next episode. Here we go, we'll see the draw. It's going to be in the final 4. Okay, look, here's the thing, right? We know if we go to the calendar, it will be there, so just show us now, but we should see it after one more advance. It's going to be semis of the Champions League. Aston Villa, all English semi-final, as we'll take on Unai Emery's side, who of course knocked out Monaco in the previous round. It won't be easy with them emerging under Unai Emery, and of course, speaking of Manchester United and Aston Villa, that final day, they felt very harsh done by the controversial VAR decision after giving a foul on Bayern Deer. We'll take them on in the semis. That'll be tough, doing quite well in the save too, but we've got a chance, you know, we've got a chance. But I'll do it today's episode of the Realistic Criminal, guys. Big fan, guys, enjoyed it. If you haven't, just like. Once you'll have a fantastic day. We'll have both legs of that semi-final in the next episode, and more games in the Premier League. Aim to stay in the top 4 and try and wrap up Champions League football for another year at Old Trafford. Have a great day, much love, and I'll see you for the next episode very soon.